Alright, hey you guys. Okay, so this is gonna be a spoiler review. Okay, I'm gonna do this in two parts, being that there's like 6 books total. And yeah, it would be a very extremely long video. So we're gonna do it in two parts. So this is part one, and I'm gonna be doing the reviews for the accident, then she was gone, and the woman in cabin 10. So let's get started. First, let's start with the accident. Oh my goodness. What can I say to start this off? Okay, so basically it's about Catherine, and she gets pregnant when she's young. Now, fast forward to like the future. Her and the dad are not together anymore, and her daughter Abby, you know, live in the city. Like, I forgot which city it was called. Anyways, in California. And she worked for this investment company or whatever. Yes. Okay, we're just gonna... Anyway. And she ends up going on this trip to, like, Colorado or something like that, if I can remember correctly. The place. But anyways, with her boss. But it doesn't really get into that part at all. But anyway, and they end up sleeping together, and he ends up having an affair and lying to his wife about it. But anyway, he's been having an affair with Catherine. But anyways, okay, so they get together a lot at her parents' house because her dad passed away, and she isn't talking to her dad or ever seen her dad ever since she got pregnant with her daughter, because that was just no. It was okay with her mom. It was fine. I mean, she was disappointed, but she still loved her daughter no matter what. But anyway, her mother is in a assisted living because she's got, I think, if I'm correct, dementia or Alzheimer's. I think it was Alzheimer's. Anyway, and apparently she was choking, and this girl, Eve, saved her life, but really Eve is a psychopath. And anyway, she gets a call from the nursing home about it, and when she gets there, her mom's fine and everything, like nothing ever happened. And Eve's in there with her, and she asks, the lady, who is this? And she goes, oh, that's the lady that saved your mom. And that's where it all started. She thought she was indebted to her for saving her mother's life. And so she goes out to lunch with her, and she pays for the meal, Catherine. And she, like I said, she thinks she's indebted to her because she saved her mother's life. But anyway, Eve, it's just, okay, let's just stay on track, Marissa, no matter how frustrated you are with that character. Anyway, and so she says, oh, I'm looking for an assistant at the company that I'm working for. Let me talk to the owner, Mark, which technically he doesn't fully own the company. He just works for the company. His wife owns the company. So there's, we'll get to that part later on. But anyway, so she talks to Mark about it, and he was like, iffy about it. But anyway, but then eventually he does agree to it. And so she gets the job, and then all the bad crap starts happening. Because I want to say that day, the day that Eve starts working there, she's like, we need to go out and celebrate this evening. And so they do. They went to a restaurant, and they were drinking some wine, and then they went to this club. And yes, by the end of everything, they were completely very drunk. And Catherine wants to call a taxi. She doesn't want to drive drunk. And she goes, oh, and then Eve goes, oh no, we're fine. Anyway, she ends up hitting somebody, or so she thinks she hits somebody, and is traumatized by it. And Eve goes, oh, it's okay. My uncle worked for the police. I will keep us out of trouble. But Eve uses that incident, that fake incidents to hang over to Catherine's head to get her way and everything, and it literally like changes Catherine's life. Like literally, Catherine was so like it made her so sick. Like literally, like it changed her. That accident, and Eve would hang it over her head, and if Catherine didn't do what Eve wanted or give Eve what she wanted, she used her uncle, pretend uncle, let's just start with that, you know, about, oh, I'll just call my uncle and tell him all about the accident and stuff. And then she steals Mark from her somehow, which is just like, I just want to like grip her by the neck and throw her across a room. That's just how I have been feeling about Eve the whole entire time I read this book. When it got to like the juicy parts and stuff like that, I just wanted to throw her across the room by her neck. It was just, that's bad. Let's see here. Catherine ends up going to his wife, who she thought was gravely ill, you know, and whatnot, which she wasn't. And the wife knew about the affair between Catherine and Mark, but Eve is the one that told her about their affair because Mark dumped Catherine for Eve. And the person that basically she thought she hit was actually her boyfriend at that time, and she was pretending she was single and that he broke up with her, and etc., etc., etc. And basically she just hit a sandbag. Anyway, and she was saying how, and telling her all about Catherine and trying to protect her, and then if I'm correct, she quits her job. No. She takes some leave and everything because Mark told her he thinks that she needs that, and she does, and that's where she goes to his wife and stuff, and she finds out he actually does not own the company that she does, and that he basically works for her, and she pays him to take care of the company and etc. But anyways, that she kicked him out, and so he's been living at this hotel or something like that. And oh yeah, anyways, and then he start, you know, getting really ticked off and whatnot, and start, you know, and then gets to her daughter, and, you know, like, because she found out that her at this time in the story, actual ex-boyfriend, and she uses Abby and stuff, and then at the end she tries to use Abby to literally hit him with a car to kill him, but said Abby was able to escape her clutches, and she ends up murdering him. But anyway, she goes to jail for... Let me see. For life, okay. Anyway, they never end up mentioning about everything that she went through to the police. She just figured, okay, well, if she's in prison for life, you know, there's nothing worse, you know, that can happen. And so that's basically how the story ends. And like, she gets better, starts getting better, and actually she still worked for that company, and the wife changes it to Rue and Nicole. So basically, you know, like, she incorporated her into the, if I'm correct, into the ownership of the company. And so, and the wife of Mark, or soon-to-be ex-wife of Mark, fired everybody but Catherine, and then the IT guy. And, yes. Like I said in my previous video, 5 out of 5 stars. I would definitely pick this up again, but because really, to be honest with you, every time you read a story, you reread it, you'll pick up new parts of the story. But that's that one. Okay, so now, then she was gone. Let's see here. It's about a story about a girl named Ellie Mack, and she, typical teenager and everything. She thinks that, and it's based in England, and basically she has this crush on this guy named Theo, and yeah, they after so many years, they end up starting to date, and then she started really extremely obsessing over her grades. I think she really always done, I think, if I'm correct. But anyway, and she asked for her mom to get a tutor, and so she does. And if I am correct, yeah, okay. The tutor's name is Noelle, and Noelle ends up being a psychopath. And but let's get to the story where, before it leads up to us knowing that. She starts being weird, bringing her gifts and asking weird and suspicious questions and etc. We'll say it like that. And so Ellie asks her mom, Laura, that's saying, to stop doing the tutor. She'll do fine on her GCSEs, if I am correct on the type of testing that is done there. Anyway, and so, she doesn't mention that she's, all this weird stuff, but she does mention it to her sister. Anyway, oh yeah, okay. And so, the mom doesn't think any of it, because she said that, she'd rather be able to concentrate on all other stuff as well, that she'll do fine on that big test. And, one day she tells her mom that she's going to go to the library, which she does. She's got all of her school books in her backpack, or ransack, or something like that, how they put it. Anyway, and she's off and heads off to the museum. She tells her mom to save her that last slice of lasagna that is in the refrigerator, and so she does. Anyway, Ellie never makes it to the library at all. She never makes it home whatsoever. Noelle lured her in by saying she had another practice paper stuff for that test. Anyways, gives her tea, which has some powerful sleep narcotics in it, and she traps her by putting her into the basement. And while she's still knocked out, she had ordered or bought some sperm off the internet, and basically she impregnated her, and because she wants to trap this guy that she met, this author of this book. And anyway, Ellie ends up getting pregnant and stuff, and even though she's still a virgin, she gets pregnant, and she delivers the baby. And all while she's, Noelle was nice to her, but then towards the end, was horrible, total. And, so she starts thinking, am I going to be able to get out of this? Am I going to be able to go home? Then comes the day she delivers the baby, and she's feeding the baby. Noelle will take her every so often to go and see because it's like this storyline of, you're going to have this baby, it's going to be mine, because I want to trap this guy that I'm in love with, but I know he doesn't love me anymore, kind of story. Anyway, Ellie ends up getting an infection of some sort, and after a while, like, Noelle doesn't pay attention to her, and so Ellie dies. And so first, like, she leaves her in the basement, and then her neighbors start complaining about this awful, wretched smell. So she puts her, I think, in a box or something like that up in the attic for like years. But anyway, within this time, Poppy is the baby, because Noelle let her name her, even though she regrets it. Anyway, starts growing up and everything, and doesn't like her mother, and everything, all this bad stuff started happening, and then the dad, sees and doesn't like it, and gets custody of the girl, and Noelle didn't like that at all, even though, like, she couldn't stand the child at all, and anyway, she gets so mad because he doesn't want her anymore, and he literally does not want, because, like, that child was her link to being able to see him whenever, and so she tells him all about everything, and so he loses his temper and goes and lunges at her, and she's sitting in her chair, and her chair falls back, and she hits her head so hard that it kills her. Anyways, he kept her body in a freezer in his basement, and then eventually, like, he moves her to the garden and the flower beds. But anyway, he feels, like, guilty, and then, like, he starts thinking things. He got a DNA test done, and of course, the child ended up not being his. And he remembered her talking about a girl named Ellie Mack. And so he did research and stuff, because it was all over the news, all over the internet and stuff. So he got all this information, and knew what the mother looked like. Eventually, like, one day, saw her in this cafe that he was going into. Coincidental? I think not. I think he was basically spying on her. But anyway, and stuff, and eventually he does really kind of fall in love with her. They start a relationship and everything. Anyway, towards the end, it's around Christmas time, and, like, he just couldn't take it anymore and stuff, because, like, so he leaves her a letter until, Poppy's upstairs. And what she doesn't know is that Poppy is crying. And also, Laurel's relationship with her children after Ellie disappeared and whatever crumbled, and wasn't so great, even after they apparently, kind of got closure. Not the closure that she wanted, but anyway, they're happy to see her happy, but the son and his girlfriend just bad vibes, basically. His aura, I think it is, colors are not good. But anyway, she didn't want to believe them. But it's Christmas. She goes over there because they're going to go to her ex-husband and his partner's house for Christmas. Their kids would have been there and everything. And Poppy wanted to go. And he gives her the letter. And he says that her other thing is big, and he's got to go get it. So he gets in his car and he leaves. But what she doesn't know is, like, in the letter, he basically, like, told her about everything, and then said that to go into his office and play the video because there's more. But yeah, he ends up killing himself by the sound of it. In one of the chapters, but like I said in my last video, 5 out of 5 stars. We'll definitely pick that one up again. Alright, last one. Sorry if you hear my dog is up there. They're on top of the bed, and then my daughter's right there doing her schoolwork. The Woman in Cabin 10, and this video is already going to be like 20 minutes long, over 20 minutes. Anyway, The Woman in Cabin 10 Based in the UK again, and I need to go back because I can. For some reason, I can just not. Remember the person's name. And it makes me mad. And, because, like, I loved this book. And, anyway, cannot remember her name. We'll just, I'll use her cat's name just because it named her cat off, and I know her name's in here, but I cannot remember it for the life of me. But anyway, or we'll just go along with the whole, the main character in the story. The main character in the story, where it lives in the UK, I want to say London, some part in London, and she works for this, like, writing company or something like that. Forgot what it was listed as. Anyway, and so she writes about stuff, like, she goes and, like, like, can stay in a hotel and gets all the amenities, without having to really pay for anything, if I'm correct. Anyway, a woman that works with her as well gets pregnant, and it's far into her pregnancy. She's going to be going and having the baby around the time this cruise thing starts, and so she puts her into first, and wants her to do it. First day went great, other than, she was still shaken up from the break-in prior to this, and she gets there, everything's fine. She forgot her mascara, which she thought she had packed, but apparently, so she goes to the cabin next to her and borrows one, but the girl said that, oh, just keep it, it's fine, whatever. Anyways, something ends up happening that night, and she witnesses somebody being murdered, being thrown overboard. And basically, and then, like, apparently nobody is in that suite, and they tell her, she gets these signs of, like, oh, somebody telling her to stop digging, and all this other bad stuff starts happening. But this one person that she dated believed her, and they start investigating and everything, and then she starts doubting his, believing, so if that's even a word, okay, doubting that he believes her, anyway, and she still gets these signs of, of somebody, writing, some, like, stop digging, quit it, and, I'm going to try to cut this just a little bit short. I really don't want this video to be super duper long. It's already, like, almost 25 minutes, and, the couple that own this boat are rich. Well, the wife is rich, and he is married to her, and when she gets cancer, and if she dies, he was going to get it all. Anyway, she ended up getting better because of the cancer treatments and stuff, and he didn't like that because he started a relationship with somebody that kind of looked like her, but with hair. And that's who the main character meets in that one cabin. She was stowed away onto the ship. And the wife really wasn't supposed to be there and whatnot, but, she was going to play like, like she's the wife and that the wife actually came. But anyway, the wife ended up coming, and then that night, he actually kills her because she found out about the affair, and it all ended up bad, and they locked the main character away because she just knew too much. And I think they were going to kill her. But anyway, she was telling the mistress, you know, don't do this. He's going to, you know, he could end up killing you too because you know too much as well. You know everything. Anyway, she ends up letting her go and she gets away. And yeah. The mistress, I believe, ended up killing him to make it seem like a murder, suicide, or whatever. Or suicides. Anyway, and so the main character ends up getting money for, you know, her part, you know, and stuff, you know, and like keeping it a secret till she was able to take care of things and stuff. But anyway, they never figured out the whole thing. Everything's chalked up as like a suicide or whatever. Whitney, chill out, please. Thank you. And do you want me to take your sweater off? Come here. Let me take your sweater off. I think she's hot because it is a little warm in the room. But this is one of my dogs, Whitney. And so she had like a Christmas sweater on, so I'm going to take it off for right now. But anyway, that is a wrap for part 1. I'm going to try to maybe record part 2 today, or I'm going to record it tomorrow, and it will be up, you know, right away. But if you liked this, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below which one is your favorite book. Subscribe if you already haven't. Hit that notification bell so you are notified when I post videos. And that's Yoda. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye, you guys.